Hello, everyone. My name is Danny, and this is another edition of Saturday Stitching. If you are watching this as soon as I've posted it, then you know that this is not Saturday, this is Friday, because I will not be here on Saturday, but I wanted to be keeping the habit of making a weekly video, so I went ahead and recorded it early. If YouTube is not being friendly, as some of the other YouTubers I've watched have had problems this week, then I may not be posting this until Sunday or Monday. But let's get on to what you really came for, which is the stitching. Okay, if you've watched my videos before, you know that I follow a needlework rotation. It's pretty much where I assign each project a different day of the week so I can make sure that all of my whips get some love. So let's go through what I worked on this week. Sunday is gift day, where I make a random project that would be good to put away for Christmas gifts or something later. You know how you get stuck with a Secret Santa or something like that. Just a generic gift. It doesn't have to be personalized for somebody. And what I'm working on right now is a blanket that I've wanted to work on for a while, called the Fluffy Lap Blanket. It's using yarn that I've had for about 10 years, Red Heart Symphony, which is discontinued. So it fits in. I belong to a group on Facebook called Stitch Your Library, where we're trying to either stitch projects from patterns that we've had for a long time, or use yarn that we've had for a long time, or both. So this is yarn that I've had for quite a while, so it helps with that. So far, I did better than I did last week, where I had to pull everything out and start over. So this is where I am. You can see from the yellow marker where my progress, I've done about an inch, maybe an inch and a half. If you look really closely, you can also see that I added a garter ridge where I wasn't supposed to in the stockinette. And that just shows you what kind of crafter I am. If I can move on without having to rip out, I will rip out. I'm not aiming for perfection. I'm just aiming for decent and usable. I know that's bad, but you know, I should take pride in my work and all of that kind of stuff. But I do this to have fun. Right now it's not a job. If it turned out to be a job, if I was knitting this to sell, then yes, I'd rip it back. But most of the things that all of the things I make, nobody buys anything from me. This is all gifts and whatever. So if there's a small mistake that's not hurting the project, it's not like I'm leaving a big hole over somebody's breast or something. So by the way, I'm enjoying that project. I like working on it, and I hope the lap blanket turns out to be useful. On Monday, that is the day that I knit for my daughter Maya, or stitch for my daughter Maya. Hi, Maya. And it took me all day to figure out what to make for her, because she wants knee socks. And I have some sock yarn on hand, but none of it really goes together, so I don't really have enough of a quantity to make her a really tall pair of socks. So it was either to make her I kept debating on whether to go ahead and cast on and make her some mid-calf socks, or some ankle socks, or then I found a pattern that I had remembered from a while back from the online magazine Knitty, and it was called Very Tall Socks, and it's made some thigh highs basically out of Red Heart. And so I have this yarn. It's Red Heart Super Saver in the watercolor colorway, which if you can see, I know the color on my camera is not great, but if you can see, there is some lavender, some 2 shades of pastel blue, some pastel yellow, and 2 shades of pastel green in there. And it's really pretty. This is if you've been with, you may remember that this was the oh, what was that? Lane splitter. The lane splitter skirt that I was knitting for myself. I finally frogged it. I spent all of Tuesday, Monday. I spent all of Monday frogging it, rolling the yarn back up, and I cast on for the very tall socks, which they're knit from the thigh down, so you cast on about 90 stitches. That's why I'm able to use this circular. But after I thought about it for a day or two, I don't think I want to use Red Heart and make her a pair of stockings. It just, and I know it's not necessarily that I don't want to use Red Heart. Maybe if I got some Red Heart soft, because you guys know Red Heart is my ride or die yarn. It never lets me down. It keeps its color. It doesn't pill. You know, it's what I go for most often. The majority of whatever I have in that closet back there is Red Heart. But this colorway does not knit up in a stripy way. It's kind of like stripy with weird splotches on it, like a Monet painting or something. So I probably have the artist wrong, but it's not just a straight, you know, stripe or whatever. And it's not even the normal pooling that you see in other variegated yarns. It's like little Dalmatian stripes or something in the middle, Dalmatian spots in the middle of the stripes. So I think it would make weird looking socks. It would look like she's wearing pants with a weird print. So I don't know. So I think I may end up using this yarn to turn into the virus shawl, but I doubt that she would wear a shawl either. So I still have to find something else to make for her. But I will find something else to make for her. I may end up just making her socks, because she still needs socks. Even if she can't find any knee-high socks, she still needs socks. Excuse me. So Tuesday is for my daughter Sydney. Excuse me. Tuesday is for my daughter Sydney, and as you know, her major whip is the Avatar 4 Elements Afghan, based on the cartoon Avatar, and the other one, Legend of Korra. I did not work on that at all this week. I thought I might work on it, but she had a bit of a rough school year this year, so I thought I wanted to make something smaller that I could go ahead and give her right away. And she's more of a fashionista than my other kids, so I'm making her a halter top. I'm using this yarn, again with the Stitch Your Library theme, I'm using this yarn that I have had, this giant egg of yarn that my best friend brought me from England about 10 years ago, I think. I'm pretty sure it is 100% acrylic. The yarn is, I think it's either fingering weight or sport weight. I don't use either one of those weights very much to recommend them off the bat. But I know it's acrylic. And it's sort of, I don't know if you could tell from the camera, it's sort of like a periwinkle blue. It has a little bit of a sheen to it, more than, it does, you know, where Red Heart is more matte. This has a bit of a sheen to it, almost like Red Heart Soft. It's not as soft as Red Heart Soft or Caron Simply Soft, but it feels nice. And this is what I've gotten done so far. This is one of the bra cups. Now I know Randy and Kai are looking at this and going, Danny, isn't the bra cup supposed to go this way? Well, I'm following a pattern from someone on YouTube. The pattern is called the DIY Festival Top, and it's by a YouTuber called Dana B. There's no written patterns, which is weird for me, so I have to just follow the video. But the top has the 2 points of the bras going this way, and then there's like lace going across the top and some laciness across the bottom. So this part was fun to make, so I can't wait to get the other bra part. I know I can do another cup without watching the video, but then I'll have to sit in front of the video the whole time to do the rest of it. So this is not necessarily a project I can carry with me when I go out, but hopefully I can make some good progress on it. Wednesday is my daughter Chloe, And I'm knitting the Simply 200 yards or less socks. I'm doing them toe up. And Kai, who is a new sock knitter, is going to laugh at me because she is way ahead of me. I think she started after me and she's way ahead of me. But this is, if you can see from the progress, I've gotten almost an inch done on this week. And I almost increased too many times because I'm so not used to using fingering weight. It's been such a long time since I've used fingering weight that I thought this was not wide enough, that this couldn't possibly be 66 stitches. But I thought about it for a minute and counted and realized it was. So now I'm just in the stockinette round and round part until I get to 6 inches total, and then, or no, 8 inches total. So I need 6 more inches because I measured this week. So I need 8 more inches before I start the heel. So I'm coming up behind you, Kai. I wonder if I'll get to the heel before you do. So now Thursday and Friday. Thursday is my son Isaac's day, and Friday is my husband Alan's day. Now both of them, I had planned to knit them socks, black socks, because they don't particularly wear any of this other stuff I make, but they will wear socks. So I was going to make them socks, but I wanted to make black socks first because that's what they have to wear to work with their uniforms. My plan was to make black socks, but in the part that you can't really see, I'd put like bright red heels and toes, or bright purple heels and toes, or something just to jazz them up a little bit. Unfortunately, my finances are such that I cannot buy yarn right now, and I probably won't buy yarn for the foreseeable future. So on their days, I guess I'm going to devote Thursdays and Fridays to giving some extra love to these other projects, because I also have a Avatar 4 Elements blanket in the works for Chloe, so I could work on those Afghans on the weekends. Now Saturday is supposed to be a me day. It's either me day or a home deck day or an extra gift day. So I could work on the fluffy lap blanket again, or I could work on something for myself or as a gift. I'm not sure what, because I want to make a virus shawl, and I might make it with that watercolor since I have it, and I can't really think of another good project for it, so I might make it with that watercolor. I'm not sure. Oh, I almost forgot. This weekend, I keep mentioning how I won't be here this weekend because I'm going to see my best friend for another girls' weekend like I did a few weeks ago. We're going to see Fiddler on the Roof at one of the local community colleges. So, and you may remember that I had some yarn that she had purchased for me to make a tea cozy, but I never made the tea cozy. That was 10 years ago. I felt guilty about it, so I thought, well, let me dig that out and make her some dishcloths. So she was happy with the dishcloths I made last time. Remember, I had that full ball of kitchen cotton, Lion Brand kitchen cotton, and another ball of some random green cotton that I'd lost the label to. So, and I already made her I made her a green dishcloth out of the random green, and I made her a round dishcloth out of the kitchen cotton. So now I've made another dishcloth out of the kitchen cotton. As I said, this is a pattern that was on the ball band. It's just 2 rows of knit, and then 2 rows of knit 1, purl 1, 2 rows of knit all the way. So this was quick and easy. Then I took the random green and added it to the scrubby that I got for Mother's Day, because she likes these scrubby things. As I mentioned before, she used to buy them from somebody at the flea market, and I guess that lady's not selling them anymore, and the ones that she and her mother-in-law have are already worn out. But the ones that she bought were like this on both sides. But I thought it would be fun to make one with a smooth side and a scrubby side just to see how she likes that, because she's also trying to teach herself how to make these for herself. She's never particularly been interested in crocheting, but she wanted to learn at least to make these because she and her mother-in-law really like to use them. So I made her one of these. Oh, speaking of which, the bath thing that I made for my husband using this and the tan scrubby cotton, he's been using it in the shower and he really likes that. So I'm glad that he liked that. Okay, so I made those two things, and then I still had a little bit of each of those balls left. So I am crocheting another dishcloth using the crochet pattern that was on the ball band. Now I don't know if you can see this because it's very subtle, but this is, let me see if I can do it. This is 2 rows of the solid green and then 2 rows, so 2 rows of this, 2 rows of this, the solid green, followed by 2 rows of this. And this in the variegated is front, the pattern is front post and front post, double crochet, front post, double crochet. And then when you do it on this side, it's back post, double crochet, back post, double crochet. So, and as you can see, these 2 greens don't really go together because this one is like a forest green, and this one, the green in this variegated, is if like you took this green and sucked the yellow out of it. So when you see them in the light of day, they don't really go together. But if you're not in heavy sunshine, they kind of look like they go together. Also, this, looking at this and looking at this shows you how differently the same variegated can work up depending on how many stitches you use and how many and whether you're crocheting or knitting, because see how this tends to sort of stripe across, whereas this has worked up into little, they look almost like abstract flowers or something. All the white has bunched up together in little blotches, which I actually kind of like. So it all depends on how you stitch it up. That's why I say I'm not sure how that watercolor is going to look if I do a virus shawl, but I've seen so many different variegated yarns worked up into virus shawls that I'm pretty sure this one is going to work up okay. So it couldn't hurt. The yarn's been sitting here for 6 years. The watercolor has. So I might as well just work it up and see, and if I don't like it, I can always pull it out. But looking at my list, that is everything that I wanted to talk about today. So I would do a little bit of chitter chatter, but A, we're already at 18 minutes, and B, there's no air conditioning in this room. And you may, if this camera was better, you would see the beads of sweat coming down my nose. And you might even be able to notice that my eyes are not focused, because the hotter it gets, the more blotchiness I get in front of my vision. Plus I have 2 lights over here because I'm trying to see if I can make my video look better. So let me know if the video is better in this video with the 2 lights. But I was hoping that it would improve the color and what have you. But it's most likely I just have a crappy camera. So, so I'm going to cut this short. If you have any thoughts or suggestions on what I can use that watercolor yarn for, let me know. Like I said, I have 3 skeins of it. And I'd love to hear what you guys are working on, or if any of you have tried using a rotation schedule for your stitching, or if you just pick up whatever you're in the mood for that day. Anyway, hopefully I'll talk to you next week. Bye bye.